Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more community news. Now a bit more transfer news now is updated. This is my first video of the day and I am going to be getting round to it right now, and apparently it's in quite a few media outlets now. Just been looking at some transfer rumors on Sky Sports and ESPN and that, and I've looked at the Harry Kane situation now. It's going on about Manchester United. Apparently, are willing to put a record fee of £170 million for Harry Kane, which would be a record fee if we did get a deal over the line. We know he's had interest from Real Madrid as well as Harry Kane, because he is the best striker in the Premier League. He's on the same level now, as we all know, of Messi and Ronaldo, who are the two best players in the world. And considering, I think it was a couple of years ago that actually Man United went for Harry Kane. I think we put a 40 million bid in, and I think we plus at the time we did have Javi Hernandez in the team at Man United, and we're willing to offer him and 40 million to try and get Harry Kane, but a deal never materialised, and it had come to a conclusion. But apparently it's saying Man United are willing to put a staggering £170 million in for Harry Kane, because obviously Jose Mourinho is a big admirer of the player. He's the way he's got the team playing so far, this season performing very, very well. And I think, if we were to get Harry Kane, Harry Kane and Lukaku would be a fantastic partnership for Manchester United if a deal was ever to materialise. And, Tottenham may be reluctant and resisted to offload the player. And as I said, even if he is going to be for sale, he's going to probably be worth more than 170 million. You're probably nearly touching the £200 million mark now, how much Kane is going to be worth, but he said Real Madrid have also had an interest in Harry Kane. Now, as I said, Harry Kane, very, very good, as I said. Won the Player of the Month quite a few times. Won PFA, won the Golden Boot last couple of seasons. He scored 6 goals in the Premier League this season. I think he's got 11 in all competitions as well. And, the two best strikers are Romelu Lukaku and Harry Kane. And, Romelu Lukaku, 11 goals in all competitions as well. I think, they complement each other fantastically well if Kane was ever to come to Manchester United. But you're saying Man United are actually willing to plot £170 million bid in for Harry Kane. So tell me what you think to this situation. Yes, tell me what you think to this situation. He's got as I said, won the Golden Boot last couple of years. As I said, he's hit over a century of goals now in all competitions for Tottenham Hotspur. As I said, he made his senior debut, his debut for Tottenham in 2011. We know he's been on loan at a few places. He's been on loan like Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich City as a Harry Kane, but fantastic player, as I said, in the process. So do you think that, there's any reality in it? But obviously we know that Harry Kane did suggest that he has not ruled a Spurs exit as a Harry Kane. He has not ruled the exit out, so he hasn't really said much regarding his future. I do think he's happy at Tottenham Hotspur. I don't think he has any no will to leave the club, due to Pochettino's a very, very good manager. Tottenham have been playing very, very good football. I think they can be challenging maybe for top 4 this season. I don't think they'll win the league due to that. They've been very consistent last 2 or 3 years, but due to that, Wembley form has let them down. They've not won at Wembley so far this season in the Premier League, but their away form has been absolutely phenomenal as Tottenham's away form this season. So it's saying, Lukaku we did pay, £75 million for from Everton. And yeah, Jose Mourinho in 3 transfer windows has spent nearly £300 million as well in the process. It's also saying Real Madrid have been tracking an interest in Harry Kane as well. But as I said, he's doing very, very well with Tottenham. Tottenham have got a very, very good team, but the likes of Harry Kane, with a player of his calibre, eventually, he'll want to win trophies, he'll want to be challenging. And can he do this with Tottenham? Because, they are a team that's been consistent the last 2 or 3 years, but they haven't got much silverware behind them. And, Harry Kane would want that. He'd want to go to a club with, a big, massive club, play man's better players. And this is what Harry Kane may want in the current future. And he's made 30 appearances last season, scored 29 goals. So it's saying Man United are willing to put apparently willing to put £170 million bid in. I don't see this happening whatsoever, but we've also heard the Danny Rose news in the last couple of days as well. But Danny Rose apparently he's been heavily linked with Man United. I think this won't be till next summer. He did say he's Man United. Jose Mourinho's convinced he can put a £75 million not 75, sorry, £45 million deal in for the player. We know that Danny Rose has been injured since January, and he signed a new deal back in September 2016. So Danny Rose has not featured this season. I think it's been Ben Davies that's been full in his spot Tottenham. And, he criticised the club back in August, didn't he? Did Danny Rose, as I mentioned, he criticised the club. He felt as though he was getting underpaid, Danny Rose. In the Premier League, he's made £135 sterling all and scored 9 goals as Danny Rose. But he's very, very good, strong, quick, good in the air, good in the attacking third of the pitch, and holds that left back. Very, very good left back. Player is Danny Rose, as I said, risen up the ranks for Leeds, didn't play for Leeds, but progressed through the youth ranks. And he's been at Tottenham since 2007, but as I said, he's been on loan at quite a few places. Went on loan Watford, went on loan with Peterborough, Bristol City, and Sunderland as well. So, yeah, very, very good player in the process. But he's actually willing to turn down Chelsea, and apparently he prefers a move to Old Trafford, does Danny Rose. But I think with more chance of definitely getting Danny Rose than we have Harry Kane. But £170 million would test Tottenham's stance regarding the player, because they would generate a lot of money for the player. They did lose Kyle Walker in August as well, but obviously they bought 3 players, did Tottenham, in the August window. So I don't really see this happening. I can't see Kane leaving Tottenham Hotspur. There's no reasons to leave Tottenham. The way they've been performing in the last 2 or 3 years, the way that Kane's progressed with the team in the last 2 or 3 years as well. So really, I just don't really see it happening in the process. A bit more things to update you on, guys, is about what's his name. Jose Mourinho, as I said, fantastic manager. Last season winning the Europa League with us, the League Cup and the Community Shield, so winning 3 trophies in his debut season with Man United, and he's been a winner everywhere he's been. Did it with Porto back in 2004, won the Champions League with them, won back-to-back titles with them, won domestic cup with them, proved it with Real Madrid as well. Also, done it with Chelsea, won quite a few League Cups, won Premier League with them, won FA Cup with them, as I said. So he's proven everywhere he's been as a Jose Mourinho. But apparently now it's in Sky Sports. Jose Mourinho is willing to sign a £65 million 5-year contract with Manchester United, apparently. And also, I've got a bit of latest news about Juan Mata. Apparently now, Man United are in the process of securing him a new deal with Man United, as apparently he's turned down a mega money move to China as a Juan Mata in the process. So it looks like we could secure Mata a new deal, which is very, very good. As I said, Mata, very good, made over £220 now in the Premier League. He's very, very good on that right-hand side where he's been playing. He can also play number 10, just like Mkhitaryan can Juan Mata, but we're in the process of trying to secure him a new deal. But yeah, Jose Mourinho is still looking at getting a few targets in the Man United team. Also, as I updated you, what else would I going to update you on? About Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez. Now about the Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez situation. Now Arsene Wenger has basically insisted, and he's clarified, and he's come out and suggested that it is possible that Sanchez and Mesut Ozil could leave Arsenal in January. As I said, Arsenal would rather cash in on the players rather than let them go free next summer, because obviously they're coming to the end of the deals. The contract talks have stalled apparently, and there would become free transfers next summer. But at least one of them two, if they don't both go, at least one of them two will go in January. And that looks like that's going to be Sanchez. But I think apparently the contract talks have stalled between Arsenal, Sanchez. What? All right, Arsenal and Ozil. But it did come out yesterday. He said actually Ozil's agent had clarified he still wants to stay in the Premier League for the next couple of years. And he said the contract talks are going in a positive direction. But I think the contract talks, as it's broken out, are still stalled. So Ozil, it did say, Man United did have an interest. It said Inter Milan had been interested in Mesut Ozil. As it come out about 4 or 5 days ago that in the last them days, he was heavily linked with a move to Man United. He was keen on reuniting with Jose Mourinho after they were fantastic together at Real Madrid. Won honours with Real Madrid as well. Did Ozil made over a century appearances since he's been at Arsenal. He has made over a century of appearances as well. He's won about 3 FA Cups in 4 seasons with Arsenal. Arsenal have paid about £42.5 million for him, the highest paid fee for the German player. But he's a player that's good at creating chances. As I said, he's a good player that's good at providing assists, as well as Mesut Ozil in the process. As I said, also was in Bundesliga for 5 years. Apparently, he did turn down 275,000 a week from Arsenal, but I think he has been demanding a higher wage. I think he's been demanding over 300,000, but no team are actually willing to pay this offer in the process. So yeah, see what happens about that. And with the Alexis Sanchez case, as I do keep saying, it said Man United have still a slight interest. Numerous teams have been interested in Alexis Sanchez, and he said he could go in January. Sanchez is coming to an end of his deal. He's not going to sign a new deal. He was demanding a higher wages package. Turned down £300,000 a week from Arsenal. But I still said, as I said, City, I think, are still emerged as the front runners to go on and go get Alexis Sanchez in the process, even though there's quite a few teams interested in him. I think City emerged. City are convinced they can get a 20 million deal wrapped up for him in January. After City nearly got a deal over the line for him in the August window, but it never ever materialised because they had a 50 million bid rejected. Initially had a 60 million bid accepted. Arsenal would generate a lot of money for a player that's coming to an end of his deal, but obviously Arsenal couldn't find that replacement because they had targets like Lamar, Draxler, who else? Raheem Sterling maybe is part of the deal, but City were reluctant and resisted to offload him. Sanchez, who's made over a century appearances now for Arsenal, reason up the ranks with underneath as well. Ex-Barcelona playing, he was fantastic with Pep Guardiola at Barcelona, and this is why I think Sanchez is gonna he's gonna go to Manchester City in the process. But there's other teams out there that could be available for Sanchez to go to. But as I said, City are a rich club, just like United are a rich club. So yeah, and I'm going to update you now about the Philippe Coutinho situation now. Apparently now about the Philippe Coutinho situation that apparently Man United, Barcelona are willing to put £120 million bidding for Philippe Coutinho in January because we know Coutinho did want to make the move in the August window, but now reports he suggested out yesterday that Liverpool were reportedly willing to let Coutinho go. Coutinho had come to agreements with Liverpool of him wanting to join Barcelona, so it looks like he could be joining Barcelona in January. Philippe Coutinho, as I said, he missed about the first 4 or 5 games of this season, due to injury. The Philippe Coutinho, 14 goals, 7 assists last season for the player. But Barcelona are convinced they can get a £120 million deal over the line for Coutinho, and that should be enough to get him away from Liverpool in January, because obviously Liverpool expect, a reasonable fee for Philippe Coutinho, because obviously since his arrival at Liverpool, he's become one of the most creative, agile midfielders as Philippe Coutinho, but skillful, tenacious, competitive, very, very good in the air, good at driving forward. As I said, Coutinho, distinctive in his play, very good playmaker. And, he's made over a century appearances now for the Liverpool Football Club. He's still got a 4 or 5 year deal with Liverpool Football Club as Coutinho. And it was basically Barcelona's main priority target in the August window. They got one of the main priority targets in Barcelona. They did get Ousmane Dembele and that. But, yeah. He wants to win silverware, he wants to elevate to a higher level, play amongst better players, and this is what Coutinho wants, and he's not going to do this with a Liverpool Football Club. And I said Barcelona, there's options out there for him. Barcelona, one of the biggest clubs in the world, so he'll be going to a much, much better team, would Philippe Coutinho. And, obviously the deal didn't go ahead in the window due to that Liverpool were resisted and were reluctant to basically offload Coutinho, but now looks like he could move in January. And also Liverpool, as I do keep updating you on the situation, with the Emre Can situation, they could see Emre Can go as well. It reportedly said Juventus have been heavily linked to him, Man United have been heavily linked to him as well. Apparently Man United have shown an interest in Emre Can, because obviously Mourinho's still looking to address, his midfield maybe a bit more. He's still looking basically for a long-term replacement for Michael Carrick. But Emre Can, very, very good. As I said, he can play as defensive mid, he can play as centre-back, he can play as a full-back. Very, very good player, very, very good in the Confederations Cup as well, was Emre Can. He's made over 100 appearances now since his arrival at Liverpool. In the Premier League, he's nearly hit a century of appearances now as Emre Can. But yeah, he could leave. He may leave in January if he don't sign a new deal. He may leave on a free transfer next summer. But I think Liverpool are still in the process of trying to secure him a new deal. I think he's actually been trying to demand a release clause as Emre Can to secure him a new deal, but Liverpool not willing to meet this. I think he's been demanding a higher wage as well as a Emre Can. But as I said, very, very good with Bayern Munich. Played mostly in the reserve team. Also played for Bayer Leverkusen as well, and Liverpool had paid nearly £10 million for him in the process as well. So yeah, so that's another one. What else was I gonna say? And yes, as I reported to you guys, the other day about Gareth Bale from Real Madrid. Now, as I do keep updating you about the Gareth Bale situation. Gareth Bale apparently, now, we know he's been at Real Madrid now. This is his 5th season with Real Madrid. He's been there 4 years. We know with his injury problems, the Real Madrid board have been under pressure, to actually sanction Gareth Bale off. We know Man United have had a strong interest in Gareth Bale. We know whenever we haven't got a deal over the line for Gareth Bale, but Gareth Bale. As I do keep suggesting, about Gareth Bale, it did report out due to his recent injury that he suffered. I think it's a calf injury that Gareth Bale has currently suffered. I think it's a calf injury. Yeah, it's a calf injury that apparently Real Madrid are willing to offload Gareth Bale for a fee of £89 million. So what it's basically suggesting is they are willing to let him come to Old Trafford, Gareth Bale. But obviously, it did actually suggest that Florentino Perez were actually willing. Florentino Perez obviously suggests that he wants to generate the funds that Real Madrid had paid for him from Tottenham, which was about the 85 or 89 million mark they had paid for him from Tottenham, Gareth Bale, Real Madrid. So we know Gareth Bale, as I said, during his 6 years with Tottenham, as I said, he made 146 appearances and scored 42 goals. With Real Madrid, he's made over a century appearances and he's scored 50-odd goals as Gareth Bale. But we know he's been very, very good, when he's played in them games. But he has been injured quite a lot as Gareth Bale. So we know that he's injury prone. He's highly experienced, as I said. His physical attributes very, very good. He's good at putting balls into the box. So he's saying they're maybe willing to offload him for £89 million. As I said, during his time with Tottenham, won the likes of the PFA, won Player of the Month quite a few times, won Football of the Year, did Gareth Bale, won Football of the Year, won Player of the Month, won PFA, won Premier League Player of the Season, also Premier League proven as well because he was with Tottenham 6 years. And with Southampton, that's where he risen up the ranks, and he operated as a left back. But when he came to Tottenham, he played more in an attacking position, which he has done since he arrived at Tottenham. He's played in more of an attacking position as Bale. Also, as I said, very, very good for Wales. Second highest top scorer for Wales. Earned over 60 caps for Wales as well as Gareth Bale. And also has been named Welsh Football of the Year a record 6 times as Gareth Bale in the process. I think this season he's made 5 starts in La Liga and scored 2 goals this season so far. So yeah, this is what the reports were actually suggesting regarding Gareth Bale in the current process. So yeah, we will see what happens about that. But yeah, as I was saying about Sanchez, I do think he's favoured to go to Manchester City. We know as the press, reported regarding, the other day, the press were reporting actually about Lionel Messi, that he could actually, that Manchester City were willing to put a staggering £358 million bidding for Lionel Messi, which is staggering amounts of money. And we know PSG have made the headlines so far, the amount of money they've invested, with the Neymar deal and stuff. And Messi was disappointed to see him leave, because they had a strong relation, and so yeah, and it did say City were willing to put a £358 million deal in. As I said, I don't see this happening. I would love actually to see Lionel Messi come and experience the Premier League. It would be very, very good to see. I don't really see it happening. I think Barcelona have been in discussions to try and basically secure Messi to sign Messi a contract extension. According to the president, he said the extension is confirmed, but I think in reality he has still not signed that extension yet as Lionel Messi, and his current deal ends next June. I think it is, does Lionel Messi, presumably still the best player in the world is Lionel Messi, and it would be good to see him, come in the Premier League, and he has to just sign an extension with Barcelona as well. But as I said, Lionel Messi, he's won 29 trophies with Barcelona. He's been Barcelona 14 years now as Lionel Messi. He's won 5 Ballon d'Ors as Lionel Messi, 4 European Golden Shoes. He's all-time top goal scorer for Argentina as well. All in all, scored over 600 goals, for the club and country. In La Liga, he's nearly made 4 century appearances and nearly scored 400 goals. I think he's on about 361 goals, which is absolutely phenomenal from Lionel Messi's perspective. I think he's scored about 11 goals this season and 12 goals this season as well as Lionel Messi. So yeah. But City were willing to plot a £358 million bid in him. Also worked for Pep Guardiola before at Barcelona, did Lionel Messi. And can City afford him? Yes, they can. City can afford Lionel Messi, but in reality, I just don't see it happening in the process, guys. What else would I going to update you on today? And yes, as we're going to update you, with the Kante situation, from Chelsea, that's just confirmed that Conte has got a hamstring injury for Chelsea, and he is going to be out until November, is Conte. So that's one of their most essential midfielders is Chelsea's, and he's only been at Chelsea. I think this is only his second season in the process with Chelsea Football Club. Conte has reportedly said that PSG were actually willing to make a 90 million move for Conte the other day. It said it in ESPN. It said in a few reports that PSG were looking to invest a £90 million bid. Obviously, we know PSG invested a lot of money. They had to sanction a few players off, to avoid financial fair play regulations, considering the amount of money they invested in the window. But apparently it's saying they're willing to go for Conte for £90 million. As I said, Conte, very, very good player, won the PFA. Chelsea purchased him £32 million from Leicester. And from Leicester, and he's got a deal with Chelsea until 2021, I think, as Conte. Also, won back-to-back titles, first place still got since Eric Cantona in 1992, 1993, a very fantastic Manchester United legend. And, did very, very well in the Euros last season, did Conte. Progressed France to the Euro 2016 final as well. He's an ex-Leicester player. I thought it was Conte, was a fantastic partnership with Danny Drinkwater, who's now at Chelsea, but especially at Leicester. Conte was a fantastic partnership with Danny Drinkwater. Was a Conte, and all in all in the Premier League, he's made 79 appearances and scored 3 goals in the process. But PSG are still actually looking to address their midfield a bit more as well. So also we know Chelsea have still got quite a few targets. Obviously we know Conte, wasn't satisfied with Chelsea's window. There's still reports stemming that he actually could go back to Italy at the end of this season, but he's trying to resist that chance because he has still got quite a few players on his radar. I think he's going to make a move for Alex Sandro in the January transfer window, because that was one of Chelsea's main priority targets during the window. Alex Sandro, very, very good fullback. He can play anywhere on the left-hand flank. As I said, I think he scored 3 goals last season in the Serie A with Juventus. I think this is only his third season in the process now with Juventus is the players. I said he was very, very good with Porto, made about 8-7 appearances with Porto. He's also been at Santos on loan as well, hasn't he? But he's won honours everywhere he's been as Alex Sandro, and he's a very, very good generated full-back is the player. But apparently Chelsea had 2 bids turned down from Juventus back in August for the player, but they never got a deal over the current line. So Chelsea did spend quite a bit of money in the August window, as I said, but Conte still wants to get a couple of more players added into the ranks of their current squad. Does Conte, but yeah, the big main headlines is about the Harry Kane situation. It did say Man United are willing to plot a staggering 100. Yeah. are willing to plot a staggering £170 million dealing for Harry Kane. Apparently, Real Madrid have monitored their interest because we know Real Madrid have done business with Tottenham in the past with Bale and Modric and that. But to me, I don't see Harry Kane leaving Tottenham Hotspur. I just don't see why there's any reasons of it going to happen. So what's your opinions on this? Apparently, Man United are willing to put £170 million bidding for Kane. He's worth a lot of money now, the way that he's progressed, Harry Kane, as I said. And apparently, I think he'd be a fantastic partnership with Romelu Lukaku up front. I really, really do. It would be fantastic to see. And, you know, we'll see what happens in the process with that. But this is in a couple of media outlets. Give it a read and give your own opinions back on it. What's being reported in the press about Man United are willing to swoop £170 million bidding for Harry Kane. Yes, we did go for him a couple of years ago as well, as I do remember. But plus we offered Javi Hernandez as part of the deal, but it never happened because the deal never materialised. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you with today. Drop your comments, likes below on this channel, subscribe to my channel as always, and take it easy. And I'll see you later on. Bye.